Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing this word with all truth and sincerity, as well as to all you believers out there who believing on the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And real briefly, I want to go into, another lesson, speaking on the current events that's been surrounding, Alex Jones. And not too much to speak on him in this situation, just being wise, using words wisely on YouTube, and especially all the talk that's been going on with the C theories, the conspire, dash receipt theories, you see? So, just got to use our words wisely. But nevertheless, that's kind of what I want to touch on. How this situation that's going on with Alex Jones, which the apostles spoke on it, elders, brothers been speaking on it already, how this situation that's going on with Alex Jones, right? And how they making him an offender for what he said when he, the situation, how he said, the school shooting. I don't even want to say the name of the school, but a certain school shooting that happened years ago, when he said it was fake and false, well, years down the line, they coming at him, and now he being sued for millions and being outed, right? His name, his image is being defamed like he a bad guy, right? But the point I want to touch on in this lesson is that all these things are happening just like what they did to Donald Trump a couple months ago. They banned him. And look, this is a former president at the time, just finished up being president, right? Because of things he said that was so-called offensive, they banned him, man, and made him look like a bad guy. So the same thing we seen with Alex Jones. Now, the point I want to get into in this lesson is that the reason they doing all this is to make laws, put laws in place, all for the prophets, man. But they need people to be examples first, because they just can't come at the prophets, right? They just can't come at the prophets, so they need examples first, and they making examples first using their own people. When they say school shootings false or riots, like Trump said for January 6th, well, how much more us and when we go into depth of Esau wickedness? Because the Lord using his prophets to fully expose Esau, right? But how much more when we go into depth that he go paint us in a bad light to have these people hate us, But the point I want to get at, I don't want to be long on it, is that all these things are being made for the prophets. And it's not the first time this happened, because I actually want to go into account dealing with Daniel, man. Dealing with Daniel. Remember Daniel, right? He was in the Babylonian Empire. Now, Nebuchadnezzar had certain wise men and presidents, and they was jealous of Daniel. And we going to read it, but they made a law for the whole province, right? They made a law for the whole province, all for one person, Daniel. All for one person, although the law was for the whole province, because that was their way to disguise it. The target was Daniel, but they said, look, we're going to make it for the whole province, because we don't want it to be too obvious that we going at Daniel. The same thing is happening with this situation, man. That you, again, like Trump, like Alex Jones, in other words, so you can't speak against the government. You can't speak against so-called C theories, although these things are real. It may be true sometimes. Certain things might be hoax, but they don't want you to out them. You see, but nevertheless, let's hop into it. Salaki for the long intro. Let's hop into it. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 6. We'll get the account and probably grab more precepts here and there, but Lord willing, this be edifying. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 6. And let's start at 1. Daniel 6:1. It said, it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first. So Daniel was a captive, right? He was captive in Babylon, but the Lord, again, he put him first. And these why these dudes was hating on him. It says, and Daniel was first, that the presidents might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. And then This Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm, just like he did Joseph, right? Just like the Lord did Joseph, set him over all Egypt. But let's get to the point. It says, then, verse 4, then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel. You see? They was looking for something where they can come against Daniel and blame him, because they like, man, this Jew. And now, mind you, Daniel was, in modern terms, he would have been a nigger today. So think about Esau, you over Esau, how he feel about that. So these Babylonians felt some type of way that Daniel, right, a captive Israelite, was over them. So they said, look, man, we need to find some way to get this man caught up. And I mind you, keep this Alex Jones situation in mind, because they trying to find a way to catch us up. It says, then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault. You see, it says concerning the kingdom, which means what? Daniel was a law-abiding citizen. So they couldn't find nothing against him concerning the kingdom. Just like us, Esau can't come at us and say, well, y'all don't pay taxes. Well, yeah, we do. Well, y'all don't stop at stop signs and red lights. Well, yeah, we do. Right? We law-abiding citizens. And they know they can't come get us like that, man. Right? We ain't out there. We ain't protesting. We ain't marching. We ain't got guns. We just on the highways and hedges, peacefully speaking through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. We don't do nothing wrong in our day-to-day life. We keep the law, so on and so forth. Really better than a lot of these Americans. We don't steal. We don't kill. We don't do none of that. So they can't find occasion or fault against us concerning the kingdom, right? So let's see what else they going to do, since they can't charge Daniel with laws of the land. So it says, and they sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault. For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Hey, just like Yahweh Shai told us, wise as serpents, harmless as doves. And therefore what? Now they can't find none occasion against us. So what Esau got to do then? Just like these presidents and princes going to do. They got to make something up. They got to put laws into place, prescribe laws into place, and lay a trap for Daniel. And that's what they doing with Alex Jones. They putting him out there for an example first. And it's probably going to be many other people. Joe Rogan probably next. You see, Trump, Alex Jones and Joe Rogan, But let's read on. Let's see what they're going to do. Verse 5. And these, so like it says, and then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel. Look, he ain't going to do nothing wrong, man. He be stopping at stop signs, right? He be paying his taxes. It says, then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Come on, man. And Esau know that too. Look, Daniel go follow the laws. That's how Esau looking at it today. Look, the prophets go follow the laws, right? They ain't gonna do nothing wrong concerning their kingdom. But we know what we can catch them up at. Hey, they serve Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, huh? They ain't gonna stop doing the work. So we gotta put things in a place to make them stop doing the work. Hey, again, just YouTube, for example, right? You gotta watch what you say. If not, they go delete your videos. So we gotta make up code words. Code words. They trying to get us in a way to stop us from outing him, from bringing out his secrets, man, and his wickedness, exposing him. But the same thing for Daniel. They said, look, he ain't gonna change from serving his power. So we gotta make a law, put a law into place to force him to stop serving his power. Let's get it. It says, then the presidents and princes assembled together to the king, a conspiracy, which that C theory is what? When two or more are gathered, plotting evil, working evil, man. But it says, and all the presidents, Salaki. So they went to the king trying to make a law, right? It says, then the presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. all the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted, or sea theory, conspired together to establish a royal statute. So that's like, look, Nebuchadnezzar, all of us came together, which they lying, because didn't it say that Daniel was the first? He was the head over all of them. So they went behind Daniel back. Everybody who was under Daniel went behind his back to get him tied up. You see, it says all the presidents, again, Daniel was first, but they went against him. It says all the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, the princes, the counselors, the captains have conspired together, sea theory, to establish a royal statute to make a firm decree. Look, we got a law, we got a statute that we thought of would be good. It says that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. So that was their law that they thought of. You know, they said, look, we thought about this, King Darius. And you know, you the king. You know, they said, look, anybody in this province who prayed to another god, and again, they setting it up for Daniel, because what was the thing they said? We know we ain't gonna find no fault against him concerning the laws of the land, but we can find it against his power. They knew Daniel prayed a lot, so they said, look, anybody who pray, let's read it again, to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god, whoever pray to any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, except you, Darius, he shall be cast into the den of lions. It says, now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed according to the laws of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. And wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, and I mind you, this was for the whole province. This law, because it says that any man. So this law was made for the whole province, all for one man, all for the prophet. All for the prophet. So these things, Alex Jones, these sea theories, him being outed to where you can't talk about a hoax, to where you can't talk about Esau wickedness. Oh, that's another thing. Even Alex Jones, he pushed the MOTB, the Charagma. You know, a lot of these so-called I forget the term that they use for him. You know, who be bringing out truth as far as Alex Jones and them. Right? But a lot of these people had the same talking points as the prophets. You see? Because just like the Lord said, yeah, he going to use his prophets, his men to expose Esau's wickedness, but also he going to use Edomites to expose other Edomites. He going to make their tongues fall upon themselves. It said in Lamentations, they going to make themselves naked. Right? Expose themselves. So we have a lot of the same talking points. And again, if they trying to out this man and make him look bad for certain talking points, what you think they're going to do to niggas and Mexicans and Native Americans for saying the same thing, but worse, but going really in? So they made this law for the whole province, all for one man. You know, they putting Alex Jones, Trump through all this, cutting them off the internet, suing them, having people hate him, all for the prophets, man. It only makes sense. It says, so check this out. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power as he did aforetime. Daniel ain't care. He said he knew the law. He still went out there, and it said his window was open. He wasn't tripping. Same thing for us. We know Esau coming after us, but we still throwing up lessons through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. We still going on the highways and hedges in front of people's faces, man. That don't faze us. We still gonna do the work of the Lord until the Lord want to take us off the highways and hedges, man. It says, verse 11, and then these men assembled, they assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. And then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree and said, hast thou not signed a decree that every man, see, the whole province, that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? And then the king answered and said, The thing is true according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. And then answered they and said before the king, well, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, that's what they was hating on him, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. You know? And then it goes on, it says, verse 15, and then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, now, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree or statute which the king established may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. So look, if they're using Alex Jones right now, he just got casted into the den of lions, right? Trump a couple months ago casted into the den of lions, you know. Joe Rogan, he probably next again. He gonna be cast into the den of the lions. Examples made, all for who? Until they try to come at the prophets, man. Until they try to roll on us. But again, all these things are being used. Alex Jones was an example, you know, just to make a law. Trump, an example, just to tighten up on laws and hate speech. And again, nobody is raw, you know, and more truthful than the Lord, the spirit of the Lord mouth, which is the prophets. So when, and especially the old school videos, the apostles, when they first came out, you know, the elders and the brothers, when they first came out, right? But even now, we don't have to scream and holler no more. We just simply go into the scriptures and expose Esau, letting the people know, look, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, so on and so forth. America's Babylon the Great is go get destroyed. They want to take that off the news, man. Alex Jones just said one school shooting was fake. We say most shit fake. I mean, select from my language. We say most stuff is faker than that. So what you think they're gonna try to do to us, man? But right, they threw him into the den of the lions, right? But that's the point on that. It's more to it. But I just wanted to make that point, you know, just to show. Look, they doing the same thing, man. They reaching, just like right here. They was reaching, right? But let's get this. Let's get some precepts. You know, but again, we seeing the same thing play out all over again. Laws was made for a whole province just for one man. Think about that. How much more in these times? This is Isaiah 10:1. It says, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Before the law was set in place, they already thought about it. They conspired and thought about it. Prescribed, before it was in place and written down and signed. Before it was already set in stone. Before that, they were just looking for a reason. The same thing Esau today is they already talk about it at the global economic forums and these summit meetings. Right, that's the but they looking for a reason and to make it official, man. To make it official. Again, Alex Jones was a reason. Trump a reason. And there's many other people that's reasons to come at the main topic, which is the men of the Lord and the believers of the Lord, like it's saying Revelation 12:17. Let's get that real quick, because that's who Esau want. Yeah, he gonna come down with great wrath upon the whole world, as it's saying Revelation 12:12. But let's go to verse 17 to see who he specifically want when he come down on the whole world. It's Revelation 12:17. And the dragon, which is this system, Esau-Edom system, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, the Israelites, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. The elect, it says, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahushua. He want those who got this truth. He want those who follow Yahweh Shema Shai, just like they wanted Daniel. You see? So they put laws into place for that, man, concerning their power. And look, they know we ain't gonna stop doing this work, man. So they gonna make laws against it to force us to stop doing the work, like they was trying to force Daniel to stop praying. The same thing happening all over again, man. Let me get this. This is Isaiah 29. Isaiah 29, and I think it's 21. Right, I start at 20. I start at 19. It says, the meek also shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. And that's what we doing, seeing prophecies fulfilled, seeing our enemies falling, we rejoicing. And in this process of us bringing out truth and rejoicing, it says, for the terrible one is brought to naught. Right, Esau being brought down and exposed. It says, and the scorner is consumed. Again, with the spirit of the Lord's mouth. Come on, man. Non-stop. Brothers in different languages, different time zones, 24/7, putting up lessons, exposing him. It's too much for him. It says, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. It says that make a man an offender for a word. Just because Alex Jones said it was a hoax, now he got to pay millions of dollars because he hurt people's feelings. And I mind you, this was about 10 years ago, and now you just want to charge this man? So think about all these videos, Vocab Malone, how to spot a Hebrew Israelite. Look, they got intel, right? Intel, it goes back years, man. Years. All for this moment we coming to when they move on to believers, man. That Revelation 12 and 17 that we just read. All this is being documented, like Elder Yahshua always say. Vocab Malone is his whatever his squad called. They looking to make a documentary of all of the videos, intel that they have gathered over these years, man. To do what? That make a man an offender for a word. They're going to make us look like the bad person just for speaking truth. Right? They're going to come after us for speaking truth. And if Esau using his own people, own Edomites, what you think they're going to do to their enemies, man? Which is us. It says, and that lay a snare, a trap, that lay a snare for him that reprove and negate us on the highways and hedges. They land a trap for us. YouTube land a trap. The CEO of YouTube, she be at these G20 summit meetings and shit like that. It says, and turn aside the jest for a thing of naught, man. And I ended off with this. It's Isaiah 59. And I start at Shalaki if the wind blowing. Isaiah 59 and I'll start at 14. It says, and judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is falling in the street. Right, and they trying to put truth out. They trying to take truth away, because truth is their downfall. It says, and iniquity cannot enter. It says, verse 15, yeah, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And that's why Esau want to come at us, man. You know, he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And it goes on to say, and Yahweh saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. And that's why the Most High about to bring the judgment. You see, that's why the Most High bringing the judgment, man. And we at that time. So they you know, I just want to touch on that real quick, just to show, hey, just as they did Daniel, made a whole law to come against him, they doing the same thing right now, using certain men to make them an example first to come against the prophets, man. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakadash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing this word with all truth and sincerity, as well as to all you believers out there who believing on the gospel. They keep fighting, keep pushing, and with that, shalom.